One of the things we like to teach our athletes is hand position on the catch. Because quite simply, one hand behind the ball, one hand beside the ball, and that makes your catching pocket, which would lead you right into a shot, right into a dribble attack, or right into a passing situation. So when the ball comes in, bang, I'm ready to go. So my hands will still be the same. Fingers pointed to the ceiling on the hand behind the ball, fingers pointed forward on the hand beside the ball. If we can get our hands in that ready position, then what it should look like is we should have a little bit of a wrinkle in the wrist here as our hand is pointed up, fingers are pointed up to the ceiling. The ball is in place, the other one's beside. And now when I lift into my shot, I'm ready to shoot right away. A lot of times what happens is people hold the ball or catch the ball with a flat wrist or even a rolled wrist. And now, whenever they want to do something, they have to load it. It takes time to roll the ball back to push it or shoot it. So it takes time away. It also hurts with their shooting mechanic because this takes time to load it and get up and shoot. We're talking about catching the basketball, a very undervalued, under-taught skill. So one way we learn is block and tuck, where one hand's out, and as the ball comes in, we block the ball with one hand, and the other hand comes to meet it, and then we tuck it in. So what we're really doing is we're shortening the pass, we're stepping to meet the ball, and then as the force of the ball comes towards us, we absorb that force into our triple threat position, our shoulder or hip shooting pocket, and then we bring the other hand over to secure the basketball. So it looks a little like this: block and tuck, squeeze. Block and tuck, squeeze. Triple threat position, an important position for kids to get into whenever they catch the ball. So triple threat means that when you have the ball, you're in a position where you can shoot the ball right away, you could attack the basket right away, or you could pass the ball right away. And again, it goes back to us having a loaded wrist and a proper guide hand so that when we catch the ball, we're in an athletic stance, my knees are already bent, my hips are engaged, this will save time, and I could actually push right into a drive, I could pull right into a shot, or I could step out and snap right into a pass. Wrists are loaded, joints are loaded, triple threat. Another term we like to use is called initiating. Some people use the word triple threat, squaring to the rim. We use the word initiate. So on a catch, I rip the ball into my triple threat position and I initiate action towards the rim. So it looks like I'm going to go into a shot or play one-on-one or pass to a teammate. But it's more the attacking mentality that makes the defense commit to the ball and will open up options for your teammates. Too often we have players that just catch the ball, don't look at the rim, and just pass to the next one, to the next one. And as the ball moves around, we haven't initiated anything, we haven't drawn out defense, and the shot clock winds down. So initiating is a real important thing for you to focus on in your practices. We're talking about sweeping the ball. That's usually when we want to secure a ball from a pass from a teammate outside one side of my body, and I want to rip it across my body to the other side so that I can attack the rim. There's a couple ways you can sweep. You can sweep low, bang, below the knees, below the defensive hand to go, or you can sweep above, we call it a short circle, where I rip above, I lead with my forearms and my elbows to protect the ball, and I step around the D and I extend. So we got a high sweep and we got a low sweep. Rip the ball, attack the hoop. Another thing we like to really reinforce is our hand position on passing. So with our loaded wrist, wrinkle on wrist, fingers up, we can work on securing the ball, pulling into our power pockets, our hips, our shoulders. This is what we call our power box. Hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder. We want to keep the ball tucked in there when we're pivoting or looking to pass. Protect with our body, pull the ball back, have a loaded wrist. So when I'm ready to step out and pass, I push off my shoulder. I want to talk about the push pass now. So a push pass is probably the pass that our youth use the most. And that's quite simply a loaded wrist, fingers up, other hands beside the ball. We're in our triple threat position or our attack position. And with balls loaded, usually somewhere around our hip or our shoulder, and we step through and we push and make an extension of our arm, snap our wrist at the target, and we try and hit. So a lot of push passes are off your right or left shoulder, push and snap. Some people like to step around the defense, generate some force, kind of pulls into my hip. Again, the key is a loaded wrist. Fingers up, shoulders back, ball tucked back to your shoulder, extend and snap at the ball. Always follow through to your target. The chest pass, contrary to its name, actually starts around the midsection, the belly. We want to take our hands on either side of the ball, make a loose triangle, right? Not a perfect triangle behind the ball, more on either side of it. Just have our index finger and thumb spread out. And when we step, we want to step, push, and point. And end up pointing our index fingers at the target. Our thumbs come a little bit under to give it that nice backspin, which allows us to catch it easier. And it cuts through the air a little cleaner. The chest pass, step, push, point. Another pass we like to use is a snap pass, S-N-A-P, snap. And that refers to just picking the ball up with dribble, snapping and turning our wrist, and directing the ball towards our target. So if I'm handling the ball and I don't want to pick it up, pivot, and take times, I want to deliver it quickly, a pass we teach is keep it below the waist, cup the ball a little bit, and then roll over and snap towards our target. Okay? So if I'm dribbling, I'm looking around, step and snap. Okay, slow motion, it would be bang. Turn it to control it, wind up a little bit, rotate and snap towards the target using a bit of rotational force from my core. Ball handling, snap pass. One of our foundational dribble series we do are sweeps and push-pulls. Then we put them together in L's and U's. So it looks a little like this. The sweeps are just side-to-side dribbles where I just roll my shoulder, hand behind the ball, roll my shoulder, hand behind the ball. If you want to start nice and tight here, a little easier. Once you get better, you want to get the ball outside your feet. Okay, and you want to go for speed and distance, right hand, left hand. Then we do push-pulls. So same foot, same hand, push the ball out, pull it back, push it out, pull it back, push it out, pull it back. Same idea. Where I'm rolling my shoulder a little bit, turning my hand, pulling it, rolling my shoulder, pushing it out. After we work on those, we put them together. We call these an L, where I push it, cross, pull it back. So every dribble, the ball goes a new direction. Okay, we get these going fast, and then we put that together, right hand, left hand, and we turn into a U. A U. So we go forward, cross, pull, push. Okay, we just keep the ball, whoops. Every dribble, the ball goes a new direction. And we just get the ball popping as fast and as controlled as can. We could also add movement to this, where we keep moving and we walk and we do L's. One of the things we like to work on when working on the crossover is a teaching cue. Ball first, body second. It's part of the trickery of crossing over. If I'm coming in one direction and I plant and I rotate my whole body and cross over, it's too predictable for the defense. So we try and teach our kids as we're dribbling, if we want to go that way, the ball goes first and then I follow and chase the ball. So it adds a little bit to the illusion and misdirection. Here's a dribble sequence we use to attack pressure. Okay, sprint up. When we see pressure coming at us, either a double team or aggressive defender, we go from being flat to the D to perpendicular, and we drag the ball back to our back foot. We put our chin on our lead shoulder so I have vision down the floor, and I use a retreat dribble, and then I pop back onto two, and now I'm loaded to either cross over or reaccelerate in the same direction. All I'm doing is creating space against aggressive defense to give me options. Looks a little bit like this. Or the crossover, same idea, full speed, pull the ball back, cross, and attack. One thing I like to talk about is the dribble pickup. So nowadays I'm seeing a lot of youth bring the ball up on the opposite side of their shooting hand. And they're bringing rotational forces across and then trying to lift in their shot. Sometimes that's necessary in a game situation, but it's becoming a habit for some kids. One of the first ones we do is just a dribble pickup. So if I'm a left-handed shooter and I'm dribbling with my right hand, I want to bring the ball over to my left into a loaded position, right? Wrinkle on the wrist, fingers up, guide hand beside, and get right into my shot. If I'm dribbling with my left hand, I want to bring my guide hand over to the ball and lift it straight up on my left side, trying to keep a line with my toe, knee, elbow, and ball. One question I get a lot is, how do I teach shooting at a youth age? And as you get older, there's a lot of different variables that go into shooting. Your body type, your strength, the length of your levers, your hand size, your hand shape. So at a youth age, we generally try to keep it real simple. And a couple of the cues are just where we put our hands on the ball, developing a bit of rhythm, and keeping the ball over our shooting elbow. So the first one would be just having one hand behind your shooting hand behind the ball, like that. Your guide hand beside the ball, fingers pointing forward. The hand behind is the fingers pointed up. We want to try and load our shooting side. So the ball is over my shooting toe and my shooting knee. And as I lift up, I want to try and get my elbow underneath the ball so my toes, my knees, and my elbow line up. And then as I raise up to shoot, can we get the ball over our shooting shoulder and extend and follow through to the hoop? And really that's all we focus on, are those few cues, and now working on a bit of rhythm and making sure that the kids kind of have a feel for the ball and a nice rhythmic stroke. We're developing power at our feet and flowing through our joints and into our final snap. There's a lot more detail that comes into shooting, but I think as a starting point, those are some great areas to focus on. When talking about the free throw routine, there's a few simple things we like to focus on. One is keeping it simple and keeping it consistent. So different than a game shot, the free throw, the variables are all the same. You stand at the free throw line, ref gives you the ball, there's no defense. So the simpler you can make your routine, the better. Because in pressure situations where there's a big crowd, or you're tired, or it's a close game, you're going to rely on your routine to come through for you. Some simple cues we use. Get the ball, don't spend too much time on the line. If the ref hasn't passed you the ball yet, talk to your teammates, talk to your coach, wait until the situation is lined up, step to the line, receive the ball. Keep your dribble routine simple. One dribble, maybe a couple to get your rhythm. None of this stuff where you go around your back 20 times and roll around your arm, because if any of those movements are off, it affects your routine. Again, you want to keep our routine short and simple and easily repeatable. One dribble, two dribble, big breath in, blow out all that nervous energy. That big blowout, that big exhale will release a lot of muscle tension and allow you to relax. As you're exhaling, you want to have a nice positive image of the ball going through the net. Swish or a nice stroke. Put that image in your mind of success. Locate the rim at the last second. Don't spend too much time staring at the rim for too long. There's some research out there that talks about how long you stare at the rim to accuracy. So you only want to locate the rim at the last second. So dribble, dribble, exhale, locate the rim, go up into your shot, and hopefully it'll be a good result. Here's what we call a check step. A check step is just a short jab where I don't fully extend myself or commit myself to going anywhere, but I'm checking out the defense to see what they do. So I have a triple threat position, I take a short jab and I bring the ball just on top of my knee and I see what the defense does. If the defense doesn't react, I continue on and I have a short step layup. If the defense does react, I can bring the ball back, create a little space and shoot, or if they react, I could push off directly with this leg, bang, and attack with a crossover. With the crossover step drill, we like to start with a balanced stance and the ball on one side of our body, simulating a catch from one side or the other. We take the ball and we rip it through, either through a low sweep or a high sweep, and then we step and dribble at the same time. Bang, bring the other foot right beside it, sit down to a little eyebrow shot fake, just a little lift. Rip to the opposite, lift. Rip to the opposite, lift. We do that cross court, down and back, and after a few reps, it really helps the kids kind of get comfortable with the crossover step. If we get an aggressive defender that's up denying us, or a really athletic defender that's up denying us and not allowing us a clean catch on the blast cut, we want to turn it into a back cut. So our cue is if the defender's foot is over the three-point line, it's an automatic sprint up, make that defense engage and commit, plant our high foot. I have an outside target hand to help suck the defense out. I plant and I rip and swing my arms through, and now I have a new target hand as I cut directly to the rim. Even if I don't get the ball, I will drag defense with me. I'll create a double gap for the ball handler to have more room to make decisions. We use the V cut to get open on the wing, get separation from our defender. Again, a V cut, slightly shaped like the letter V. It's not perfect all the time, but the premise is I take my defense hard, one or two steps, the opposite direction of where I want to catch it. So I take my defense in, so if they're guarding me, it makes them back up a little bit, otherwise they give up a back cut. Either I hit them, or I just use change of direction to gain separation, and I come out and I meet the ball, and I can get into a reverse pivot or into a front pivot catch, depending on the situation. Talking about an L cut now. It's a cut we use to get open when we get an aggressive defender playing on the inside of us. Okay, so we usually want to walk our defender up. The D-man will be my stationary defender. When I get to the point where I want to change direction, I got to have a bit of a foot fight here. I got to make sure I get my inside foot over the defender's inside foot. I get an arm bar into him. I put out a target hand. My teammate will pass me the ball. I'll release, catch the ball, and rip right into a chop, a reverse pivot chop. And now I'm initiating, taking a look at the rim, seeing what my options are, and I attack from there. Talking about a front pivot now. A front pivot, you actually crowd the defense. So if I catch the ball here and I got a defender on me and I'm going to go into a front pivot, I'm actually bringing my body towards the defense, as opposed to the reverse pivot where we separate and create a space. I may use the front pivot where I'm bigger, I'm stronger, or I just think I have a quickness advantage and I can get around the D. Okay, catch, front pivot, push off one leg, swing the other one, protect the ball. Defense will be right here, crowding the defense with the front pivot. I'm going to talk a little bit about a reverse pivot. So a reverse pivot is a pivot that creates space between you and your defender. A lot of times this happens in a mid-post situation or a wing seal situation. So if I get a pass to my outside hand, I step out and plant. My high foot will be my pivot foot. My outside hand will be my catch hand. I'm going to reach with my other hand to secure the ball, and I'm going to reverse pivot. I'm going to step away from the defense as I chop the ball down to my live leg, my non-pivot foot. Bang. And then I can square up. I'm initiated. I have options after that. So again, reversal pivot, catch, chop, and this could either be back to shot, chop into layup, or chop into crossover attack. When teaching the layup, we like to progress from a 1-step to a 2-step to a 1-dribble layup. The first part is simply hold the ball and we step with our inside foot, drive up with our outside knee, finish with our outside hand. Step, up, finish. We do that on both sides. Then we back it up one more step. Now we'll step outside foot, inside foot, finish. Again, no dribble. Outside, inside, up and finish. Back it up. Step with our outside foot, inside foot, up and finish. Once the kids are comfortable with that, we back it up even further. We add a dribble, dribble, outside, inside, up. And that's how we progress through teaching a layup with our younger athletes. With our youngest athletes, getting our footwork down for layup attempts is really important. Many times we break it down to a 1-step routine and a 2-step routine before we add the dribble. Quite simply, it's like this. We stand very close to the rim in a balanced stance. We just step with our inside foot and we drive up our outside knee and our outside hand and finish. Just 1 step, up and finish. After the kids are comfortable with a 1-step finish, we turn into a 2-step finish. So instead of the 1 step and go, we now back it up 1 more step. And now we step outside, inside, up. So again, no dribble, outside, inside, up. We keep building that till they're more comfortable, and then we'll add a dribble. After the athletes are comfortable with the 1-step finish and the 2-step finish, we add 1 dribble. Depending on the size of the athlete, somewhere around the free throw line, we add our dribble, step outside, inside, up. Go to the other side, same thing, right hand, left hand, get at the end of the line, start with a dribble, outside, inside, up. From there, we just add more dribbles, more obstacles, more decisions. And that's how we teach the layup. This works on the footwork, close to the rim finishes, and helps build coordination. The first one we do is the traditional Mikan, step through layups. So we just go outside hand, reach for the ball, outside hand, reach for the ball, outside hand. Okay, the keys here are we want to maintain a bit of an arc. As the ball goes through the hoop, I want to step away, reach for it, pull it in, extend, high finish. Reach for it, pull it in, extend, high finish. That's our front 1-foot Mikan. Our reverse 1-foot Mikan is very similar. This time we're facing away from the basket. We drive our knee up, outside hand finish, off the backboard, trying to get our feet, drive our knee up, get the ball as close to the rim as possible. Our power layup Mikan series looks a little bit like this. We're facing the backboard. We do our outside hand layup. As we catch the ball, we do a crossover step, one in front of the other, then we balance up, get nice and strong, jump, outside hand, catch, jump, outside hand, jump, outside hand, trying to get as high up on the backboard as we can for our finishes. Our reverse power layup Mikan series looks a little bit like this. Same idea, 2-foot power layup. We jump, turn our wrist to the backboard, get a little English off the glass on the catch, crossover step, balance up, gather, jump, turning our wrist to the backboard, trying to get a nice powerful finish with our outside hand. If you have younger or newer athletes to the sport, here's a modification to the original Mikan drill you could use to allow the kids a little more time to get their feet set and help build their confidence. Same drill, we just allow the ball to hit the floor before we grab it and go into our next layup. So as we do a layup, we let the ball hit, then we gather, go up again, let it hit, gather, make sure we get our feet set, and we get in a better angles so the kids are doing the drill properly. And then after that, we can progress to the one where you catch it right out of the air.